morning. This is Bill Gray from the American Association of Private Railroad Car Owners. We have 7 cars on our trip this year. One of the cars we're looking at in front of us is the historic Pullman Dover Harbor. It was built in the 1920s for the New York Central Railroad as car Maple Shade, and then later converted to a lounge sleeper. And it's one of the oldest cars we have on the train. The next car you see here is what is referred to as a dome car. This was built for the Union Pacific Railroad and ran on the famous streamliners throughout the West. It was built in the 1950s. The other car down here, called Northern Dreams, is a sleeper lounge. It was also built in the 1950s. Beyond that, we have another Union Pacific car. The stainless steel car is the Pacific Union is the name of the car. And that was a sleeper that held 6 double bedrooms and 10 roomettes. The next car we see, the orange and brown car, was built for the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad in 1950 as a 5-bedroom lounge car. It's now a 4-bedroom diner lounge. And we'll look at these a little bit later on when we go inside the train set.
They call me Skinny for obvious reasons. Yeah, we started back around 2000. Brent Brewer, I hope anybody's familiar with him, was their general manager of the whole railroad. Came from the CMQ and worked with Anglo and Brewster. Started the shop. Back then, Gary had built on the property, or just sold it to David Wilson. So we actually had cement floors versus Gary would never put cement floors, and we were afraid the employees would come in on their day off and work on their own cars, vehicles. But no, we're not putting stone in from what I hear. Again, Bill inside here is a nice guy. I've known Gary for longer than I've worked here. I met him at the historic society. He goes, "Do you know who I am?" I go, "I do not." He goes, "I don't agree." On the whole, if I known I was going to get a job here 25 years ago, I would have probably been a lot nicer. But for that, we can show you the shop. You can ask questions. If I don't know any of the answers, I will make them wrong.
Aaron, a little bit of history. Was this a B&M facility, Boston and Maine facility at one time?
It was.
Okay.
It was. I got a leaflet too. I printed out for you guys just for useless information. Just
Okay.
a little historical. I think if I remember right, I'm a member of the Historic Society in Dulles Falls, so that goes along with love and history. I think we were built in like 1917 for 31,000 and some odd change. That you couldn't even had government enough to get a permit to build this place for $31,000. It would be that bad. This was a machine shop. The only tool we got left is that big drill press in the center. Okay. And we might once a year use it. So you guys are all familiar with it.
Jerry bought the railroad. Was the B&M already out of service out here then?
He bought it from Nelson. He had a lot of the, I don't understand, stock and stuff. Valley from your dad. He bought the rest of the stock.
Okay.
Stock options. Now I'm making stuff up.
Yeah, okay.
So if I'm wrong, just keep it to yourself and don't tell nobody. But yeah, then he took it over from Bob, Frank Evans. He owned a lot of it. He was the president or something at that point. Which I knew him as well. He worked for Peter Martin.
And when Steamtown was in operation, did they initially start here or did they start at Riverside?
Well, they always slated this for the working on services. Then they went to Riverside. They also had a run down to Keene, New Hampshire as well.
Right. Well, not North.
Yes, and that was Scott Whitney, I'm sure you guys may be familiar with Scott Whitney. He was the chief mechanical officer for Green Mountain. He has a lot, he's on B&M Circle. Makes a lot of videos and stuff as well. He's out in Colorado retired. They talk to him quite a bit because we know nothing about passenger coaches. Most we know is what Rob has taught us since he started coming around. Sometimes I'm not sure if we want him around. Well, I guess most of you guys own the coaches that are over there.
Well, there's a few owners here. We've got a number of our riders that are regular riders that have ridden passenger cars all over the United States. So it's a good collection.
It's pretty neat.
And engineers. We've got a number of engineers here.
Oh, don't ask me locomotive questions because I couldn't tell you. Jason Arun would be the guy to ask about that. I know freight cars. That's about my and even then, if I don't know it, I'll have to refer to the airfield. He says what the FRA tells me when they show up. How do you know?
Sounds good. Well, should we proceed?
Let's meander out to the shop.
Sounds good. Lead on, please.
Switch engine with the brake test. And one of the interesting things with the switch engine, sometimes they operate on poor track conditions. So this is a re-railer that fits over the rail to re-rail the cars back up onto the rail and up the rail.
We had a store a few years ago.
And of course, on the cab is the name Nelson Blount, who was Nelson Blount was the gentleman who created Steamtown, that originally was located here and up at Riverside Yard in Rockingham, and unfortunately passed away in an airplane accident. The interesting thing, this was built in September of 1912, and obviously still functions and provides for snow clearing. It's a massive snowplow on the front. And you can see this snowplow partway down. You'll see there's the 4 hinges along the side, and that's a wing that'll extend. It'll extend out to the side of the car, so that if you have a deep snowbank, you can press the snow back, so it's not just the width of the snowplow itself, but it extends the width that it pushes that snow out of the way to clear for the trains. Well, welcome aboard the New York Central 3. This car was built for the New York Central Railroad and specifically assigned to Harold Vanderbilt. Is that correct?
Sterling Vanderbilt.
And this is Maria, our onboard services manager
And chef.
and chef. So Maria, would you like to tell us maybe a little bit about the car
Yeah,
or
the car
walk
was
through?
built in 1928 and was built as a business car for Harold Sterling Vanderbilt, from the New York Central Railroad. And it's been in service for several years, and had a couple of different transitions through its lifetime, but now it's back to being a private car. And this is our salon. And we have 4 staterooms, 2 with Pullmans up and down, and the other 2 is a Jack and Jill with a shower in the middle. We have a dining room. This is our hall. Please don't judge. All our rooms have commodes with them and sinks. And in the center is the Jack and Jill with the full shower and 2 double beds. This is one of the Pullmans. This is still set up as a bed. Don't judge, because this is what my room looks like because I'm working, and that becomes a settee, and 4 people can sit down in that. This is one of our guest suites, and this is the one with the full-size bed in it. And this particular one has a full bathroom in the center of it. And this is we serve a formal dining room. We serve on china, crystal, and silver, in tradition of the Vanderbilt way. And then we have another.
Maria, may I ask, who's the special guest that's got the photo here?
Well, that would be Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, and his wife, Jackie O. And then we have another one further down that was the King and Queen. So we have another room here. Sorry, I didn't know they were. Another up and down. And this is, well, back in the day, this would have been crew quarters. And they're very small bunks. There was probably either an African American or a Philippine, and they have their own shower. And this is crew quarters. It does become another settee and a toilet and full shower. And it's right by the kitchen. So we do have a full kitchen on this car. We have a dishwasher, stove, microwave, refrigerator. And a lot of food gets pumped out of here. Thank you.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
Oh,
This
here's
goes.
the King and Queen on the car.
It goes through.
So this car was built for the Pennsylvania Railroad's famous train, the Broadway Limited, and ran between New York and Chicago for most of its career. This is a bedroom lounge car. We're obviously in the lounge, and you'll notice as we come up through here that you will see that when Elvis returned from his military service, he actually rode on this car, and this is an image of him here at this seat. Wow. So, and you'll notice too the details here with the fabric, the wall coverings here.
Yeah. As opposed to a full dining car kitchen. So the galley is quite small. As you can see, it's very small but very efficient.
Yeah, this car is the Colonial Crafts. It was built in 1949 by the Pullman Standard Company in Chicago. It was in service with the Pennsylvania Railroad from 1949 to 1969. It went to the Arden Trolley Museum in the 70s, and then owner, a guy named Rod Fishburne, bought it, and they moved it to Los Angeles. And then it lived in Los Angeles for 33 years, and it did charter service all over the West Coast. And then my former boss, Bob Lowe, bought it. Him and his wife, Susan, bought it in 2017, and we moved the car to Washington, D.C. And then it started its East Coast life back on the Pennsylvania Railroad. We've run the car numerous times cross country. Been to Miami, we've been to Vermont, we've been to California, Seattle, Denver, Chicago, all over the place. And then in 2024, a guy named Larry Shugart bought the car, and now its home base is Philadelphia, and it runs primarily the East Coast, but like I said, we can go anywhere the Amtrak system allows us to go. So there was 8 of these cars built, Colonial Series cars. This one famously had Elvis aboard in 1960. March of 1960, Elvis was released from the military, came from Germany back to the States, and then they chartered this car from the Pennsylvania Railroad, where he took it from Washington, D.C. to Memphis. He spent about a week and a half at home in Graceland, and then he took it from Memphis to Los Angeles to shoot the picture GI Blues, which we have the record back there. So he shot the picture GI Blues when he got back to America. So Richard Nixon also used the car in a campaign train against JFK. They had competing trains in 1960, and this was part of a 10-car consist of cars that were used for for Nixon's campaign train. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite part of the car?
Just this lounge, this huge lounge. As you walk through different cars, you'll notice how they're all configured differently. So this car is kind of unique that it has this massive lounge, which is really cool. And the neatest thing about this car that people remark on it mostly is it's completely almost all original.
Yeah.
This is just how it was. And if you rode a train in the 1950s, this is what it was like. We've painstakingly started like putting the colors back. We've painted this gold trim back to its original colors. We've started to do some upholstery work to get the colors back right. So we're slowly, we have pictures of Elvis standing against these walls, and they were pink, so we put them back in this pink kind of retro 50s, mid-century modern colors. But that's what's remarkable about this car is it's just really original. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Thank you. They're probably walking ahead, I guess. This room is the only room that's, put together if you want to at least see what you can have one room like. And then this porter berth here. So this area is the original Pullman Porters berth section. So Pullman Porters used to work on these trains, and this was his seat during the daytime. And then at night, these slats come out. This actually folds down, and there's a bedroll inside. The bedroll rolls out. The porter uses these to step up in. Your feet go in this end. Your head's at this end. You've got privacy curtains that hang from here. You've got your own light and your own air vent.
Wow.
And then the Pullman Porters would also use this fresh water spigot to fill canisters to have fresh water, drinking water for all the passengers. And the canister goes in each room. This is really super original. Another neat thing about this car, a lot of these privately owned cars, they'll take this area out and they'll make it into a shower or a bathroom or do something with this space. This is still exactly here how it was.
Into 1950. And this car, Blue Ridge Club, reflects the location where it was built to operate. So it ran on the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway between Washington, D.C. and Cincinnati, Ohio, and then on to another part of the train broke off in Ashland, Kentucky, and went to Lexington and Louisville, Kentucky. And it was the train called the George Washington. So this car, again, was built in 1950. And the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad, as evidenced by the logo down here, was still, when this car was built, was still using steam locomotives. So they used the steam locomotive motif of the smoke coming out of the nose of the locomotive and streaming back over the train. As we look down the hallway here, we'll see that we have bedrooms, and you'll notice there's a bedroom letter up here that designates what room it is. So room A, B, C, and D. And as an example, this is what the rooms look like. With the lower berth down, there's an upper berth in the ceiling that pulls out of the ceiling and comes down to make the upper berth. And then there's a master suite in here, but the guests are in there right now, so we won't bother them. This is the fairly large size galley. So this car was designed in 1950 by the Pullman Standard Company in Chicago, and this is original to the car. This metal is actually not stainless. This is actually a metal called Monel, which is a combination nickel and copper, and it was very sanitary, is why they chose to use it on the ceilings, on all the cabinets up here. And this, of course, is all modern equipment down below, and this is stainless steel down here. But the purpose being for sanitary conditions. So once again, our chassis theme continues with our original plate reproductions. And we have our, as well as our mugs that have the our Chesapeake Cat logo.
It's awesome.
Thing about this car is that we have this beautiful lounge back here.
Hi.
That and this is our chef Kristen
How are
and
you?
our train master Kevin.
Hello.
So we are enjoying the wonderful scenery of Vermont, and tomorrow a little bit of New Hampshire. And as you can see by this car, this is a rear fin. So again, this you'll notice the Chesapeake symbol is the Chesapeake cats here. And this is related to the advertising campaign that the C&O Railway had done in the 1930s, where you could sleep like a kitten in air-conditioned comfort. And at that time, they had one of the first of the trains that operated with air conditioning. So it was a big advertising coup that they were able to provide air-conditioned service. Otherwise, you would be obviously hot in the car in the summertime. So the railroad used that logo, the kitten logo, for many, many years as a very successful advertising campaign. And later, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway became the Chessie system, and they used the cat in the what they call the Chess C. It was a C shape with a cat emblem in the middle, and that's what they had painted on their locomotives. So that is today's CSX transportation, and the C for CSX came from the Chesapeake and Ohio and the Chessie cat.
Thank you.